This is parking lot H in Prince William National Forest. Prince William National Forest is in Prince William County, and it's located near the Marine Corps base at Quantico, Virginia. Gonna hike in a multi-mile loop on a couple different trails and even some old roads today. This is called the High Meadows Trail, and when I finish my hike I'll be coming from higher ground down that trail there. But for now we're gonna go this way and head down towards the South Fork of Quantico Creek. This is called the High Meadows Trail. Just thought I'd turn the video on for a second to show you what this High Meadows Trail looks like. It's a really easy trail to walk on. It's very clear, not rocky at all, and very well marked. I'm working my way. I'm actually going up a hill at the moment, but this trail right now is working its way down, generally downhill, towards the South Fork of Quantico Creek. Once we get down to Quantico Creek, we're gonna hike downstream for a couple miles probably, and then turn around and head up an old farm road, old abandoned farm road, to an old farm, and then finally come back down on this same trail, only higher up on the hill, and to complete the circuit. Not sure how far it's going to be. It might be 5 or 6 miles time we're done. But anyway, this is what High Meadows Trail looks like in through here. Hiked almost a mile on the High Meadows Trail, and this is my first contact with Quantico Creek. This is the South Fork of Quantico Creek. There's also a North Fork in a different part of the forest. So here's the South Fork, and here's what it looks like. So I'm going to hike downstream on this trail, which runs along the left bank of the creek here for a ways now. I'm still hiking along Quantico Creek, but I thought I'd turn the video on here just to show you there isn't much water flowing in the creek right now, but you can see from the gravel bed, and hopefully if you look over here you can see the bank over there and then the bank over here. So that tells me that when it rains hard, this whole area fills up with water. So this creek goes from practically nothing to a major water source when it rains hard. And then over here, well, there's the trail that I'm hiking on. And then all through here is very flat. This is sort of the Quantico Creek floodplain over here. And then there's the creek looking upstream. This is a little bit deeper section of the creek here, meaning it's, you know, maybe 2 feet deep, maybe 3 feet deep in a couple of little holes or something. But I've been standing here looking for fish, and I see quite a few little fish in there. And sometimes when you got little fish, you got big fish too, so who knows. But there's definitely some fish, at least in this little stretch of Quantico Creek. Well, there you go. Great big tulip poplar tree. Actually, it looks like maybe 2 tulip poplars that grew together at the base. Here's where the trail crosses Scenic Drive. Scenic Drive is the drive that winds its way all through the park. And we're going to keep on this trail for a little while further until we get to an old dirt road, and then we're going to turn left and head up that dirt road towards an old abandoned farm. Okay, here's the end of the elevated section, and there's no sign here. You can go straight, you can go to the right, which takes you down towards the creek, Quantico Creek. So I think I am going to take a left and go up this way and hope that this takes me up towards the Taylor farm, the old abandoned farm. So we're going to take a left here and head up this way, and hopefully we made the right turn. If not, we'll be backtracking or bushwhacking. Well, my left-hand turn finally put me on this old road, so I'm feeling like I made the right choice. This is definitely an old road, and I'm heading uphill like I should be. So we're going to follow this for a ways and see if we end up at the Taylor farm site. Check back with you later. Well, here's another unmarked fork in the trail here. That's the road going up straight. But the blue blazing veers off to the right here to some trail that's heading east. So after getting out my geological survey maps and my GPS and seeing exactly where I am, I've decided I'm going to keep going straight. Even though the blue blazing goes this way, I'm going to go straight up this fire road, and because I'm not far enough north yet to be at the farm. So we'll see what happens. Well, I'm glad I stayed on this old road, because there's a blue blaze, and over here, going to the left, on that big pine tree is an orange blaze. And over here is more orange blaze, and there's a concrete marker that's telling me that I'm in the right spot. So we're going to take a left back onto High Meadows Trail. That's the trail that we started to hike on, except we're up higher in the hills right now. And this trail's going to take me by the old farm, and then we'll continue on down the hill to the parking lot. One of the activities you can do in Prince William Forest, I've done it and it's a lot of fun, is called orienteering. You're looking at one of the markers, orienteering markers. That one is marked number 853. Each marker has a different number on it. And these things are scattered all throughout this forest. There's a lot of them all over the place. Some of them are near roads or trails like this one is, and some of them are out in the middle of nowhere. There's that one, and here's the trail, and straight ahead is High Meadows Trail heading towards the old farm we're going to go to. So this is an example of one of the orienteering markers that's close to a road, but like I said, some of them are along creeks, some of them are really out in the middle of nowhere. When you go to the visitor center, you can look through the maps. There's 10 or 15 different courses. They were designed by the Marine Corps, and you are told where to start your course, and then from there you go on foot using a map that's provided to you and a compass, which you can borrow or use your own compass, and your wits and power of navigation. Moving through the forest, taking note of various landmarks, maybe trails, maybe it's a peak, maybe it's a valley, or whatever, using your wits to navigate through the forest and locate these marks. So when you complete a course, you went from your starting point through the forest, located all your markers, hopefully in the order that they show up on the map, and then navigate back to your starting point. It's a lot of fun. Well, here we are at the Taylor family farm. It's abandoned and it's all overgrown. There's no buildings left here, but there is this cemetery that I'm standing in, and here's a tombstone with some information on it. It says Robert A. Taylor, born December 20th, 1867, died January 11th, 1937. It's in the middle of a small family cemetery. You might be able to see the cedar posts sticking up, and there's some wire fencing stapled to the cedar posts. And right over there is another grave marker. That one doesn't have any inscription on it. It's just a simple stone stuck in the ground. The High Meadows Trail is right over there, and we'll be going to the left to head back to the parking lot, and then over this way, this whole area over here is where the farm was. I'll walk around, and I think there's some foundations of buildings maybe still over there. So I'm going to walk around, maybe I'll take a few pictures. I'm going to try and stay out of the tall grass though, because that's loaded with ticks. We'll see if we can get some pictures, and if I can find a place that's cleared out, I'll sit down and get something to eat because it's close to noon now. Let's see, so far we've hiked 3.5 miles. I'm still at the Taylor farm site. I bushwhacked my way through some 2-foot high growth to get over to this blown down tree here so I can sit down and eat some lunch. Over there in that area is where the farmhouse was. I've been up here before when it wasn't as overgrown, and you can still there are some foundations for some of the buildings, but right now I'm not going over there on account of all the overgrowth. But anyway, the farm was in this general area here. It's not far off the road that I hiked up here on, and this is part of the area too. So I'm just going to sit down here and drink some water and eat some food, and then we'll head back to the car. Today's exciting cuisine is Mission flour tortillas, and I'm going to put Star-Kissed tuna creations in them and roll them up. That's hickory smoked flavor. Next to that we have an apple. If you're wondering what variety, that's called Envy, E-N-V-Y. Next to that we have the Quaker Chewy chocolate chip power bar. Next to that we got the Keebler cheese and peanut butter crackers, and I'm going to wash it all down with water. So I finished eating up at the Taylor farm, and I'm back on the High Meadows Trail now, working my way down the hills to my car at parking lot H. Here's one of the many footbridges that I've crossed over on this hike today. There's a lot of these all through the forest here. This is going over one of the little feeder streams that dumps into Quantico Creek. Here's what this little feeder stream looks like. This one, I guess, gets some major flow to it because I noticed on the other end of the bridge on the right hand side there, they have this bridge roped to that big tree over there with a huge steel cable. So I guess they figure if it's a major flood through here, it may knock the bridge crooked, but at least they'll still have the bridge. Here's looking downstream, and over there is another one of those orienteering markers. Well, it's been a nice hike. It hasn't taken me that long. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm working my way back to the parking lot now. This is a nice hike if you live in the Washington metro area because it's close, it's easy to get to. It doesn't involve, you know, an hour and a half each way to the mountains. And it's an easier hike than hiking in the mountains. It's a little muggier here because you're only at 300 feet elevation. So it's not going to be as cool temperatures as at 3,000 or 4,000 feet. So there's the parking lot. There's my red car, and hope you enjoyed going along with me.